Gaming chairs are pretty much a dime a dozen. Everybody makes them, but there's no real reason to spend that much money or even call them gaming chairs. That's going to change today. Or so I think. Today, I'm going to bring you an unboxing, overview, and a complete build of the DXRacer Craft custom gaming chair. This chair has a ton of features I've never seen in a gaming chair before, and I don't mean USB ports or RGB lighting or anything along those lines. These are actual custom comfort and things that a lot of gamers actually need, or just a lot of people actually need. But anyway, before I keep going, let's go ahead, start the unboxing and get to the build real quick so we can see just what it's like. So nothing real impressive to show you around the box, so we'll just go ahead, open it up. All right, so first off, presentation, already just opening it up, looks beautiful. Turning it around, and I'm again impressed by something. When I opened it up, I don't see a bunch of pieces sticking out at me. I see this nice presentation of the chair Craft. A big congratulations to you for all your new DXRacer chair, and welcome to the DXRacer family. Now, it's not just cardboard on the other side. I am incredibly impressed because it's the instructions on how to build this chair. Typically that comes in a manual that is just a manual, but this is beautiful. This is very nice. So I'm already impressed just by this. I'll put this aside for now. All right, foam. All right, as I mentioned, this is the Creator Series. In case you're seeing that and wonder what it is, I'll get back to this in 1 second. Actually, I'll get to this now. So this is the back. See right there? It has the thinker etched in, and then the text there. Let me go ahead and remove the bag real quick. Oh, wow. Okay, so immediately taking it out of the bag. Now, I felt this material before, kind of like a PVC leather. This feels like it's been already treated. It feels nice and softer than most that I felt, or all that I felt actually, for PVC leather, which is not real leather. This is embroidered. So this is actually stitched into this seat, and you know, it feels nice. Along the sides over here, it is also embroidered, so they put a lot of detail into this chair. Mind you, I assume this is all made by machine, but even still then, it's a lot of detail. Over here, they have a very cool idea that, you know, I've built 1,000 of these and I never thought of. When you put the seat, a little piece of metal comes up and you have to slide this chair into it, hold it with all your weight, and then screw it in. With this, you slide that piece into here and you can let go and screw that in. That's a great installation idea. This is for the lumbar support. You can make this more firm or more cushy just by turning that little lever. That is amazing. Another attention to detail on every single chair that I've had that you strap on the headrest back here. It's like an afterthought. It'll slip out of here. It's never a good installation. This actually has a strap on the side where you slide that strap into, so that headrest isn't just gonna fall out. When I was reading all this information before doing this unboxing, I was amazed by the tiny thing, and we'll get into this a little bit later on. Then we have the back of the chair. Beautiful design, embroidered as well. Feels very nice and delicate. Along the top here, Craft is embroidered along the top. So this is definitely a beautiful back piece, and we'll see a lot more from this in a little bit. Right, this is the 5-star base, an aluminum wheelbase, 5-star. Drop in your lift right over here, and it feels solid. You know, most of them do. This is pretty much no different than the others. I love that sound. But, all right, pretty standard. Another thing that impressed me looking at this box as I'm taking things off, things come in boxes, not little baggies thrown around. I really like this presentation. right, the headrest, and this is one of the unique things I've never seen before. Just open this up. Now mind you, we've all seen a headrest before, but inside of this headrest is a cool, ooh, wow, okay. So you can't feel it when you're holding it, but when you squeeze it, it has a cooling gel foam pillow insert type thing, and it feels amazing. Let me see if, so that's, oh, wow, okay. So this feels incredibly cool, the foam inside, and I'm gonna take it out maybe. So you can see that. This feels very nice. I've never seen this before in a gaming chair. I am impressed by this. And then, as usual, it has the straps, and most are just straps that you can undo for the headrest, but this one you can undo since you slide it in the little pieces along the side to hold it in place. Not that it just pops out. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the seat. Now, just like the back, it is embroidered everywhere here. DXRacer along the front. Here is where you can tilt the back. The back is adjustable at 135 degrees. DXRacer right over here as well. And then DXRacer right over here. This is a 4D armrest, and unlike other chairs, this actually comes already installed onto the chair. We'll get into the 4D in a little bit. Made in Taiwan. Nothing else pretty much unusual, so I'll put this aside for now. All right, nothing else there. And this is the multi-tilt mechanism, multi-function tilt mechanism. Now, they claim that this is a little bit more, a little bit thicker than most. I can't agree or disagree on that, but pretty standard to me. That's the piece that goes underneath the seat and allows the seat to recline and turn around and everything. Now the box. Now I'm done with everything here, so let me go ahead and move this entire box and then we'll get to this. One second. So DXRacer, pretty much the same thing along the sides. On the top here, DXRacer Embrace Gamers. Oh wow, okay. So along the top here, when you open it up, shows you the contents: Allen key, M8 screws, hydraulic sleeves, casters, lever handles, side covers, and hydraulic piston. Okay, look at that. And then the presentation of the whole thing, that's pretty impressive. Everything about this unboxing has been pretty impressive. So, wow. Okay, usually they give you a little cheapy Allen wrench, you know, little tiny L, and they're really a pain to hold on to. But this, you can hold on to and ratchet it around both ways like a regular screwdriver, and it feels nice. So, awesome there. I'll definitely be keeping that. Then, either this is an extra screw or just a screw that we need to add somewhere, but it comes with that. And again, it had its own spot here. It wasn't in a little baggie as an afterthought. And then two of these to raise and lower the seat, and then for the tilt mechanism. And very nice side covers for the side of the chair so you can put your seat back or forward. These actually feel a little bit nicer than most. They are magnetic. You don't need to screw them in, and that's always a plus. And then here we have the Class 4 gas lift, which is BIFMA certified as well. And well, I mean, looking at it, there's really nothing different than most of these guys. So here is first off, the piston cover. Covers the piston so you don't get your fingers or anything caught in there. Pretty standard. And the 60mm casters. Nothing out of the ordinary here. There is, of course, 5 of them. So let's get started with the build. So we're going to start off with the 5-star base as well as the casters. So simple, just like with any other chair. We're going to grab the caster and then just push this right into this hole. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Okay, this is a little bit easier than most. Could be luck. I'm just going to do this one and then fast forward through the rest. Okay, so that one was easy too. Cool. Fastest run of putting casters on a chair. These are the easiest I've ever installed. Flipping the base over, we're going to go ahead and install the piston and the cover. Now for the back of the chair, as I said, we're going to slide this into the rail system, but we do need to remove these screws first. All right, because of this included Allen wrench, I didn't need to grab my own. This is already the easiest. With the little Allen wrench they provide, it's typically incredibly difficult to do, and you could see just how easy it is. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now I see they have their rail system only on one side, which as long as you have one side, it's good. All right, so now with the base down, if you remember, the little rail system would be right over here. So we'll just grab the chair. Kind of excited to use this. I know I'm a geek. Actually, maybe I need to put this one down. It's kind of getting in the way. Okay, so that's it, and everything looks aligned. Maybe I can do that to align it a little bit better, but both hands, I don't need to hold it in place. That's pretty awesome. Look at that. The rail system, I've never seen it before on any chair. Doesn't mean it hasn't been. I've just never seen it. Okay, and then once we have it there, again, you don't want to screw it in completely yet until the other side's there, so we'll just turn it around. Now we'll match this up, and now it'll easily do it. Might have to lift it a little tiny bit, but you can do it with one hand. Here's the other hand, and you can see just how the hole goes up. I'm really impressed, as you can tell, with that little rail system. That's been the easiest I've ever done this part before. So DXRacer has done a ton just to make this easy process, because it is easy as it is, but that much easier. So just now that they're all there, we can just screw them in tightly. Now, an odd angle, I know. This is the bottom of the chair. Now, we're going to need to remove these 4 screws. Now, bringing the multifunction tilt mechanism, you're going to want to have the upper part of the ramp towards the back of the chair. So just hold it here. And you're going to want to screw in one just for the pilot screw. And just in case, screwing another won't hurt. Okay, now you can let go and you screw in the others. Now, when I say screw in here, and like most, don't screw them in 100% just yet until you have the last one in. Okay, now that we have all 4 in, we're going to go ahead and screw in from up here diagonally to down here, and then from here diagonally to down there completely, because now we have all 4 in there. Now we're going to be installing these paddles right onto here, this one here, and the same on the other side, and we're going to have them facing backwards. Let's see, okay, there's a groove that they fall into. You don't just slide them in. You have to slide them in and then look for it, and then you'll find a groove afterwards. you can just slide them into that groove, and they actually slide pretty easily once you find the right groove. Now on the other side, just finding that groove. There we go. All right, so lock, unlock, or vice versa, down and up, and we'll see this in a second. Now we'll go ahead and pop this guy in. All right, and let's put it down on the floor. All right, so this is incredibly low to the ground right now. I have to get a different tripod, but I wanted to show you, this is one of the first things after putting the backrest on that I should have done, but I wanted to show you just how potentially easy it was. Maybe not that one. That's it. I didn't have to screw that in. It just went on there. Other side, sure is going to be the same thing. That's it. Click. Magnet pulls it in. Good to go. Now let's see that headrest. And now the headrest, as you can see, and I showed you, we have these. It's not just going to slide off. So we'll grab the headrest, undo the little belt buckle, and then we'll go ahead and slide that around here. I'll just grab one side, and then I'll go ahead, and I guess you can use either the inside or the outside. I'll go ahead and use the inside. Looks like it's going to make it a little bit lower if I use the inside. So you have two options to use. So then I grab the pillow from this side, stretch it across, and I can let go of this guy now because it's going to hold right over here. And then just the way I did it before, I grab the inner one, and I'm noticing the strap right now that I didn't notice before has DXRacer on it, which is nice. Okay, and then good to go. And then no matter how hard you game or you want to knock it off, well, it won't knock off. It'll maybe fall back there if you slap it up, but any other one of these guys would have been on the ground by now. All right, so first time I've sat in on it, the base is a bit rough. The max weight on this chair is 250 pounds. I'm exactly 251, so I pass it by 1 pound, so I can't really say anything bad about that. And for the armrest, feel comfortable for me at their very highest. I feel like I'm a little pushed out in this chair, like my butt. If I'm sitting perfect like that, upright, I feel good actually. The butt is firm, but it's not wood firm. There is padding there. I assume the lower you weigh, the more padding there'll be. At 251, I have exceeded it by 1 pound. Right now I'm sitting perfectly straight up with my butt all the way back, so my tailbone all the way back in the chair. Unlocking the tilt mechanism. The chair does rock. Now, it doesn't rock that it's incredibly loose, like you lean back and it'll go back. You do have to push your feet out. I'm at the highest the chair goes, and my feet are almost perfectly flat on the floor. They're up a little tiny bit, but not by much. From the ground to the bottom of the chair, when it's at its lowest, this is incredibly low, is 14.5 inches. I'll go ahead and convert it into millimeters in a second on the screen. This also gives me a second to also show you right over here. This I can go ahead, turn to make it either tighter or looser for the tilt mechanism, which I'll show you in 1 sec. Come over here. And that raises it. So let's see how tall it is. From the floor to the top, it is 17 inches. So it's not an incredibly tall chair. This will take a person up to 6 feet and regularly 5.7 feet. So of course, depending on the height, and again, I'm at the highest, then going to, that is the lowest. I like to sit at the highest, plus it makes it a little bit more bouncy. I prefer it to be bouncy. The backrest is 31.5 inches, so I can see how that would work between 5.7 and 6 feet. Also with the neck rest at wow, okay. Wow. Okay, so at 5'6", you saw me put the neck rest on the innermost little clip on the side, and I can see how that works at 5'7", and now at 5'6". Putting it on the outermost would help it go up. That way you could see it working with 6 feet. The cooling pad that they have in the neck rest feels great on your neck. Kind of like getting into a bed that was made early in the morning, getting in at night, and you've had your AC running all day, and your bed is nice and cool. You get that feeling. It's also a very comfortable and cushy pillow. I like it a lot. I like the fact also that, you know, I can lift my head and I can lift it all the way up, and the chair is not going to fall on the floor like it did on my Main Gear Forma R. Main Gear Forma R was a very comfy chair, but the backrest and the neck rest to me were afterthoughts that this chair has just right. This chair also has a little dial right here that you can use to loosen the back. So I'll slide back a little tiny bit, and then I'll turn it this way to push it out as much as possible. And it kind of feels like there's a balloon or an airbag between your back and the seat. So when you tilt it back, it expands, and when you tilt it or when you dial it forward, it goes back. So it is very comfortable, and they hit at 5'6", they hit the perfect spot in my back. So that's pretty awesome. I would see at 5.7, 6 I would imagine, but I'm vertically challenged, so I don't know for certain. So the way I like to sit in these chairs is with my legs crossed. The seat is only 22 inches. So I kind of feel like my legs are maybe a little bit over the seat. They could fall. So it's not as comfortable as if it were maybe 24 inches. Now, one leg up and one leg down feels fine. But again, I feel like 24 inches would have been that sweet spot. The armrests are at the perfect level. Fully up is 29 inches and fully down is 26 inches. They are 4D armrests, so we have up and down. Then we have forward and back with this button right over here. This button also allows you to twist it in and out like that. Then there's also a button right here on the side that allows it to go in and out, in and out. I prefer it completely forward and all the way up. Like this, it just, I feel weird. That feels good to me. Now you saw me sitting with my legs crossed. The chair is 22.4 inches. I think that width is actually great. I wouldn't mind it being wider, but 22.4 is great for me. And the width of the backrest is 20.8. All in all, I really like the ease of assembly DXRacer has put into this chair. That included Allen wrench. It might have been a few more cents than anybody else, but it felt great in my hands. Every time I've had that little Allen wrench, I have to put that aside and grab a real tool to do that. And this one, I didn't need to grab my tools. Everything I needed was in the box. The presentation, the poster, the inner box, the way everything was inside of this box was great. Typically, I'll receive other chairs from other vendors and there'll be parts broken, not from the chair itself. The chair is solid, but of the box, and I feel like, oh my God, something fell out. Thankfully, nothing has. But with this chair, the box was almost perfect. And then of course, all the contents in there, I had no worries. It was good to go. The quality of the chair, the embroidery, the PVC leather, and all the materials used in the chair, you can tell it is a high quality chair. That material they put in the neck rest, the headrest, to cool it down, I've never seen that before. That's awesome. Not only that, but that little strap they have on the side to keep it from falling out. The way that it has the rail that just slides in, and then the little side clips that just click in magnetically. I've never seen that before either, and it's a great addition. It shows the quality of the chair. Now, the bad parts are it's not incredibly cushy. It doesn't bottom out. Like, you're not sitting on wood, but I feel like it would benefit from more cushion. Then I feel like you're pushed out too far if you don't sit perfectly with your tailbone to the back. I feel like the depth of the chair could have been a little bit longer. The price is a little expensive, but because of all the quality components, all the extras that they put in the box, the presentation, the everything, it's a beautiful experience, and I feel like the price justifies it. Now, mind you, I've just sat in it, not what, a minute ago, and so I don't have longevity testing just yet, but I will go ahead and list that a little bit later on down in the comments below. And of course, you can always ask me and I'll let you know later on. But I really like this chair a lot. Out of 10, I might say it's a 7 or an 8. It's not a 9 or a 10 because, again, I don't just soak into it, but I can really get used to this chair. I can get used to that. That's great. Anyway, this is Iggy with ThisBytesForYou doing unboxing, overview, and a review of the DXRacer Craft Series custom chair. Iggy with ThisBytesForYou out. See you guys.